Thanks for having us.
Speaking of somebody else has game, we have Chris Forcier, NFL prospect, who is the fastest quarterback in this year's draft. Has, I think, a better passing rating than Andrew Luck.
That's right.
Intrigued? Well, we're going to hear from him after the break.
Saints, out of Saints as well. All right, stay with us. Sports Park Sunday. Doug and Dan, extra sports. It's a tough act to follow, Dan, but I think we have someone to talk to that will be riveting for the audience.
I think so. This guy's stats is absolutely amazing. The fact that he's getting, basically no national attention. Before we even talk to him, hopefully the Chargers can scoop him up with a late-round draft pick and get him here and develop him for quarterback of the future.
Chris Forcier is just got finished with his senior year at Furman, had his pro day on March 9th, ran a 4.40, one of the fastest times of any quarterback coming out of the NFL draft this year. Graduate of St. Augustine, like yours truly, class of 2007, Chris Forcier, and he joins us now here on Sports Quark Sunday with Doug and Dan. And good morning, Chris.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'll tell you what, a fellow Saintsman. God love you. Go Saints. And you won 2 state titles at St. Augustine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2 CIF San Diego titles back in 05 and 06, back-to-back years. I was very fortunate to do so. I had a great team surrounding me, great coaching staff, and Jerry Ralph and Dick Van Raphorst. And definitely a great time, great memories. High school game, so much fun. Changes the higher you go up. So it's just definitely a good time in my lifetime.
Chris Forcier with us from Furman, who played at UCLA as a freshman. From San Diego, played for St. Augustine, as I mentioned, won 2 state titles. Talk to us about your pro day on March 9th. Did you anticipate, did you train for that quick 40 time, or are you just a fast dude?
I've been a fast guy my whole life, but, it's definitely a lot of training and a long process that goes into it. You can be a fast guy, but if you don't have the correct start on a 40, you can lose time quickly because it's such a short race. If you don't have a good start, you can't gain on it. It's only 40 yards. It goes very quick. So, I would train week in, week out, 5 days a week with a teammate of mine, Cedric Cunningham, and we would practice 40 starts almost every day. And that's the most important thing, just the 10-yard split. It's just a long process. You got to have great work discipline and just, it's fun doing it. We've had 2 pro days, and I did very well at them. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, Chris, I think maybe the reason why you're not getting a lot of attention this draft is because after going to UCLA and having maybe didn't really mesh there with New Heisel, you went on to a 2A school where you put up some monster numbers, but the 2A schools don't quite, get the attention. What is the difference between playing in a UCLA program and playing for one of these 2A schools, and how do you get the attention on you, from the teams to be considered in the draft?
Well, I think the main separation between the two is, like you said, they just don't get the monster attention. But there's a misconception about the level of football competition. That's great competition. You get numerous guys that transfer down to 1AA. And there's just a lot of guys that just get looked over out of high school that just didn't, either promote themselves good enough or the coaches didn't help out enough, or even maybe just grades out of high school weren't good enough to go on to a D1. So they had to go down a level. But, it's great football out here. A lot of the scouts, they go and by region, they check out the small schools every year, the NFL scouts. So, it's tougher to get looked at from a smaller school, but if you're a big-time guy, who's doing well at that school, you'll get noticed. The scouts will find you. They definitely know how to find talent.
Hey, you know what? It's interesting. You went through quite an experience at UCLA. First of all, you were heavily recruited out of St. Augustine. You picked UCLA over Miami, Nebraska, and Oregon. Here comes Rick Neuheisel with his bizarre offense, perhaps, and decides that it's better for Chris Forcier to be a wide receiver. Tell us about that.
Well, it was just one of those things. Coach Neuheisel, he saw my speed, and he thought I could help out a receiver. And it was definitely, I could see where he was coming from. We needed help. We didn't have a deep play threat at receiver. We didn't have a 4-4 guy at receiver. So I can see the need to help there. I was coming out of a spread offense in high school, and then Coach Terrell's staff was more of a multiple offense. That was the coach that recruited me to UCLA. And he was going to tailor the offense to more to my style of play. But he ended up getting fired, and Coach Neuheisel came, and it was more of a pro-style offense. It was more of an adjustment. But Neuheisel saw me best fit in at receiver for the team. And I tried it out at spring ball that year, and, did well with it. But at the same time, my goals were my aspirations were to play college quarterback, and I just felt it was best for me to look elsewhere. And, I found Furman. My biggest thing was just finding a combination of good athletics and good academics and a good school. And if that meant going down a year, it's a big deal. Transfer rules are so, there's so many rules. You have to sit out a year if you go to another D1. I had already redshirted, so I decided to go down a level. That way I could keep that year and have 3 years to play. So it just, it was a big whirlwind. But in the end, I just had to do what was best for myself, in my opinion, and playing quarterback at the collegiate level.
Chris Forcier with us, Sports Squawk Sunday, Doug and Dan, Extra Sports 1360. Now, what are your aspirations in the NFL draft? You've been talking with your agent. He's a great guy. What expectations do you have? Do you think you'll be drafted?
I feel like I will be. I have a big feeling that I will get drafted, just because of the size and speed that I was able to come in at on my pro day. Being a big guy, I came in about 6'3", 215 pounds, and ran a 4.4 flat. There's just not many guys that are running that at my size. I think the only guy that beat me that was a receiver actually was Stephen Hill for my size. He ran a 4.35 out of Georgia Tech. My agent really feels like, the team's going to have to take a chance on me, whether that be at quarterback, receiver. I know a lot of teams are looking at me at receiver, just because of my speed alone. But, I definitely have a feeling that I will get drafted. But you never know. This thing is such a long, like I said, such a long process, and you really know what teams are thinking. I met with the Oakland Raiders actually the other day, and they told me they like me a lot at receiver. So we'll see. It'd be pretty cool to go play back home in California. But you just never know, like I said.
The Chargers don't have really a third-string quarterback, and they need to get one. So I would love to see you kind of develop here with the Chargers as a late round pick. I think that would be great to have a hometown guy here. If you don't get drafted, if it's not a late round draft pick, is it maybe good to go undrafted, maybe choose the team where you have the best chance to be able to succeed? And I have another question is, as we're kind of running out of time here, do you have the same agent as Mike Tolbert, who went from being an undrafted free agent to make it in the NFL? Have you had any conversations with Tolbert in terms of what it takes to be able to go down that road?
No, I haven't had any conversations with Tolbert, but then again, we had the same agent, so I've learned a lot from my agent about, the path he's taken. Same with a quarterback, and Tyler Thigpen. He came from Coastal Carolina. He played with Tolbert, small school, just the road to being, playing in the NFL. Everyone takes different paths. You just never know what can happen. Quarterback can go down and get injured. But it's just about getting that opportunity, really. In the NFL, it's very tough to do that at times, especially at a position like quarterback, because only one guy can play at a time.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's got to help you to have the kind of speed you have, and who knows, you may end up as a wide receiver in the NFL. We shall see. Chris, we're out of time. Appreciate yours today. Good luck, and we'll talk down the line.
I appreciate yours. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Hey, Chris, I sent you a Facebook request. Friend me. I'll send you a link to this audio, and we wish you the best of luck.
Okay, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Chris Forcier out of Saints. And UCLA Furman now up for grabs in the NFL draft. I'll tell you what, there's a guy who has a definite future in pro football. There's no question about it.